Yo, 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 what's up, guys? Good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Let's take a look. Ooh, VIX is down. Wow, VIX is down 11%. Let me check something quick. Okay. VIX is down 11%. What's the rest of the market doing? Palantir up 5%. Nike up 2%. Nice to see. Enphase up a bit. What's the biggest loser today? Obviously VIX. Chipotle is down 2%. Rest of the Mag 7 doing decently. All right, let's take a look at NQ. Starting on the weekly chart. Nothing that we can see here as far as imbalances on the weekly. We did end up sweeping the data high that hit the other night, or the other day, sorry. The data high formed right here. So that ended up sweeping. So I'll actually delete that off of my charts real quick. We do have a set of equal highs right up here that we actually missed, funny enough. And yeah, very interesting spot to be in for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if they make this difficult, if they kind of like chop it back, maybe bring it back into this range. If we look up to 50% of this range from here to here, I would not be surprised if we see this 18,760 level. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm just deleting some stuff off my charts from last week. All right. Just a few more things here. Okay, so very, very interesting spot to be in, that's for sure. I think it's definitely possible that we can sweep this high today, but I'm going to be super cautious with this because anything can really happen here. Daily chart, again, we've inversed this daily fair value gap, this daily fair value gap. Let me just delete this quick. This daily fair value gap right here was inversed on this candle, as well as this one, as well as the volume imbalance, as well as this one. So this is obviously a very bullish candle, but when we have a massive move like this, typically they make it difficult before they deliver it higher. Like they create a consolidation range in this area, and then they'll bring it higher later. So that's just something to keep in mind. This is the volume imbalance that we have on the daily that I am looking for some kind of a bounce out of, which we possibly could get today. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we do have this unbalanced area of price right here between this candle's high and the 4-hour. So I want to see this get filled at some point soon. Looking at the hourly, I mean, kind of the same thing, but we have a little bit more of an imbalance here. This was the 4-hour. The hourly is larger. So that could also get filled. And yeah, today is a no news day, so it's probably, hey Charlie, what's up? Good morning. Today is a no news day, so it's probably not going to be a cash account day for me. Maybe funded if something so good presents itself, but most likely just eval. So we will see. And yeah. All right, I'm gonna alert the community, but I just closed out my riot position. My riot call, sorry. Did not close out the position itself, but I closed out the calls. All right. So right now, obviously in this leg of price, there's nothing that's amazing. I'm looking at the 5 minute to see if there's any inversions we can look at. This 5 minute here. By the way, excuse me if I end up sneezing. Give me a second, actually. All right. So it is allergy season. Okay. So if I do end up sneezing, forgive me. I'm gonna try and mute my mic, but what was this box for? Am I going crazy? Oh, there was this 5 minute inversion right here that looks like a pretty decent long. And the target for it would be the mean threshold of this whole leg of price. So if we do end up inversing this, guys, before this mean threshold hits, then this is actually a pretty good scalp to target that mean threshold. So just a heads up. Okay, so we are rejecting the 5. So again, nothing here. I mean, if I look at Asia and London session, guys, we had this big gap up, and this happened because Trump announced the pause on chips, computers, smartphones. I mean, that's the reasoning that we see it in the futures market. Created this new week opening gap, and now we are probably going to consolidate within it. Again, we do have that set of perfect equal highs right above that formed on the 9th of April. So I would not be surprised to see that end up being a draw on liquidity, but might give us some, it might be tough to get there, so we'll see. 5 minute did not close above the fair value gap, so there's no entry for a long here, though I wouldn't be surprised if we come back up and hit this candle's high, because that is the rebalancing of the 5 minute fair value gap, at least by a tick. So we'll see if that ends up happening. And yeah, so we'll see what we get today. I think today is a tough day, just structurally based where we are. Like I said, look at the daily chart. We're kind of like range bound. It's an inside day from within this candle right here. So, I mean, until we break out, I'm not going to see anything that I really like. There's going to be consolidation within this volume imbalance most likely, and then new week opening gap. So again, you just got to be careful. This is that volume imbalance within the new week opening gap. And then this is that 5 minute FVG. So again, nothing here that I see that I really, really like. So let's take a look at ES quick. On the daily chart, same thing. We've gapped up, and now we are kind of trading within this daily candle. So until we break out of this, there's not going to be really anything A+ that I view in my eyes. Now, I mean, for me, I use the daily chart as a high time frame bias, but if I don't see anything A+, even within this leg of price, even if it looks really good, if the daily chart isn't telling me that we're looking for a breakout anywhere, then there's nothing that I can really take. So there's no great fair value gaps here. We did sweep London low, and that's why we are seeing this kind of push up. But as far as like major liquidity that we're looking for to target and then go long from, I mean, who knows? We could come back and rebalance this hourly gap first, which is possible. But right now I don't see anything A plus that I would take. So right now I have to sit out. Also, we have no news today, like I said earlier. So I mean, the odds of you guys getting anything A plus here is probably slim. But oh, let me let the Discord know that I'm live. I forgot to do that. Do we form perfectly? Oh no, these are not perfectly equal. Never mind. Disregard that thought. But really right now, guys, what I want, I mean, so if you look at this 1 minute candle, there's an internal high here. That's pretty important. A lot of people, let's just say today's a sell day, right? A lot of people have their stop loss above this internal high right here. So I would not be surprised if they target this before making a continuation move down. I do want to check some previous sell days quick just to make sure there's nothing that I see that's too good to ignore. Because I've told you guys before, I mean, structurally, guys, when we have big sell days or big buy days, structurally we do repeat patterns. So I want to see if there's something similar here. There is this tiny 1 minute inversion here. Is this A plus? Absolutely not. There's no sweep of liquidity. It's way too small. And yeah, so I would not even consider that at all. But let me check some stuff quick here, guys. No worries, Charlie. Good luck out there. All right, so I mean, I am going to label this, guys, so that we see it, because it is possible that we end up coming down and sweeping this gap. So we have this hourly gap right here, right? It was a new week opening gap, but really it's an hourly gap as well. So I would not be surprised if we do end up getting a move down into this. And then from there we can maybe consider longs. But again, there has to be something structurally that's A+. There has to be an IFEG. There has to be a liquidity sweep. So we'll see if all of those things come into play. So again, perfect rejection from this 5-minute inversion. If we can close above this, then at minimum, we should target this red line, which is the mean threshold of this whole leg of price. So I'm looking for a potential order block to form here with this down close candle, close above the IFEG macro time, and target this, and then maybe the 830 candle as well, or the 830 level if you want to call it that. Wow, these lights are so bright this morning. Sheesh. I got like the film lights here that killing my eyes. Oh, Tesla's at 260. Let's go. All right, so this candle closes in 3 minutes. I don't know if that's going to be enough. It's too much time. I don't know if we're going to get the entry for the 5-minute inversion here, but we'll see. All right, guys. Great news. So I just took a scalp on my. This is my second eval account on my funded futures, or my second funded account, or second eval account on Top Step X that I just got funded. So I just got this up to that $53,000 balance. So officially, this is going to be my second funded account on this. Again, most of my fundeds are on Apex and my funded futures. So it's good to have Top Step as well. I'm going to use the copy trader because I have a Mac. I've never used a copy trader before. But yeah, so happy to have that working out now. Big pump here. Again, look at the, so we never got the entry on this, right? It's 704 now, 705 in just a second. But realistically, I can't take anything within this leg of price. I needed it to close here for me to enter, take profits here, 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 and then leave runners up to high of day. So we'll see what happens here, but this is definitely not a place where you want to randomly long. We could easily reverse and come back down to midnight and target the lows. So basically what you would need here either is a low time frame entry or you need to see both of these close above. So this would need to inverse as well as this one. This would need to inverse, and this 5-minute gap, which is right here, would need to inverse. And once both of these closed above, you could target the equal highs. But then again, when that happens, you're probably going to get a retracement and then a move higher. So you'd have to be careful. I would probably wait for both of these to close above, look for some kind of a retracement into this IFEG, and then another inverse on the 32nd to target these equal highs. Okay. Also, if this 15-minute inverse is, that's going to be a great signal that we're coming back up to high of day and then the equal highs. So pay attention to this. If we can get the 15-minute close, that happens at 10:15, which is actually a ways away, 9 minutes. But if we can get this close above, then maybe we can get a retracement within here and get an A plus IFEG to target the equal highs. That's the only setup that I can see playing out that I would personally take. But we'll see what happens here. And yeah, I do like this tiny little fair value gap here on the hourly. Paired with these equal highs, this could be a very good draw on liquidity today. Meaning a target for today. If you don't understand ICT terms. By the way, guys, for those of you who are, I mean, I didn't really post this in the community, but for those of you who trade Forex and you listen to me talk about how I shorted the Great British Pound New Zealand dollar within this range, and then I added here, I have closed out half the position at this internal low, and I'm going to be holding the rest down to this low. So just a warning for those of you guys who are in the community. I am closing out that position in this area of price, half of it. Okay, VIX is down 15% today. My VIX short is still down, but I'm hoping for the VIX to end up coming down much further than this. I want to see this whole area, this gap, get tested in the 23s, 24s. If that can happen, then we'll still book some nice profits on this, but we need to see the VIX move down lower than this. So pretty much what I'm looking for right now, I'm waiting for the 715 candle. Okay, the 715 candle is going to be important because it's going to tell me whether or not this 15-minute fair value gap, which is actually all the way up here, whether we close above it, whether we fully fill it, whether we trade within it. The only way that this is going to signal strength here to me is if we can close fully above the 15-minute inverse, because this is a bearish PD array that's holding down price. So unless we can close above this, I'm not really going to have a strong signal that these equal highs are coming today. I need to see a strong close above this with a body. Then I'm going to look for the 5-minute to inverse, and then I'll look for a 1-minute inversion within the 5 to target the equal highs. So that would be the only trade that I'd consider today. But for now, all that I can see here is that we're rejecting this 15-minute fair value gap. And so there's no bullish trade for me to take. Maybe we'll get a nice inversion to the downside to target the hourly gap. So that's another possibility. That will come if this set of fair value gaps inverses to the downside, which is still a very, very fair possibility. So we'll see what we get. So I know you guys, this is tough, but as a trader, 99% of the time is literally just waiting. You need to have an obvious draw on liquidity, meaning an obvious target that you're aiming for, and the rest of the time you're waiting for all of your confluences to come into play for you to execute a trade. If you're a scalper, I mean, that's a different story. Like, for example, I can do scalping as well. So on my eval account that you guys just saw on the screen, I mean, these are the stats, but $3,000, 60% win rate on the day. The daily win was 63%. This was actually from last night as well. I took some trades, but only one this morning. 60% total, 1.73 profit factor, and you can see how the account has gone up over time. This is what I look for, guys. I don't want to see your eval accounts fluctuating and being passed in 1 or 2 days. If you can't take an eval account up over time, then you're not going to be successful. It's just simple. But yeah. Okay, anybody can pass an eval account in 1 or 2 days, being lucky, and they'll end up blowing most of them. But if you can actually prove to yourself with an eval account that you can make money slowly over time, and your P&L curve looks like this, not like this, and then down, and then up, and then down, this is gambling. This is consistency using a model and using a trading plan and using risk management. If you can't do that, then you're never going to be profitable. So if you get all excited because you pass an eval account in 2 days, you're like, oh, now I'm going to treat this differently. Now I'm going to be funded. Now I'm going to make money with a funded account. You're never going to, because you can't even do it with an eval. So imagine when more emotions are involved, it's a funded account, it's never going to work for you. So just a heads up. Until you can prove to yourself that you can pass, like everyone paying for these 1-day funded accounts, the only people that should be doing that are people that have been trading for 10, 20 years, that are amazing at trading, and they just know they can pass them immediately. That's the only person. But the reality is these prop firms prey on you, and they're trying their best to make you shovel as much money as you can up front and then take it all away from you. So just a heads up. But anyways, there is a really nice looking inversion here on the 2 and not the 3 so much. It's a little bit smaller, but nonetheless, I'd like to see it close below. But if we can close below on the 2, which we did close below on the 2 actually, so I do like this. Did we close below on the 1? So if the 2 and the 1 both close below, guys, I am going to look for a short. So if we can get a retracement up and then target these lows, these lows, these lows, and then the hourly lows. That doesn't look bad to me at all. But if this ends up just dumping here without giving me an entry, then it is what it is. So you guys can see how we're rejecting a 15-minute fair value gap. So we're rejecting a bearish PD array. We have a liquidity sweep here, this internal high, and this one is not really an internal high, but it's the start of another bearish fair value gap on the 2-minute. There's also a bearish gap on the 3-minute. There's also a bearish gap on the 5-minute that we fully filled, which I like to see. And now that we are potentially going to inverse this 2-minute and 1-minute, this might be a good place to look for a short. But again, my entry is going to be down here when this fair value gap is closed below with the body. So until that happens, there's no entry for me. Hope that makes sense. Does everyone that's watching this stream know what IFEGs are? Don't be afraid to answer, guys. If this is all like jargon to you or completely a different language, then I do have a playlist on YouTube you can watch. It's like a free ICT playlist. And it gives like a very basic tutorial of what liquidity is, what IFEGs are. So don't be afraid to watch those first. They're about 15 minutes each. There's 4 of them. But those will help you a lot if you are a complete beginner to inverse fair value gaps, ICT, liquidity. So yeah. Okay, so we just rejected from this tiny 1-minute. This could be what delivers us down here. And then the only thing I don't like about this trade right now is that we do have a very big stop loss, right? The stop loss is going to be a 1-minute close back above this set of fair value gaps, but the target is much lower. Now, I'm not just going to hold the whole position down here. I am going to partial at this low and this low, but the RR is a little bit large for my liking, but nonetheless, it's not terrible. Okay, so the 7:15 candle already closed, and you can see we wick. So this is forming kind of like a pin bar. I don't know if we can legally call this a pin bar, like not legally, but like technically call it a pin bar because it didn't close within the full 1/3. But this is a good bearish candle, so that's another good sign. So if this can close down here, guys, I am going to look for a short and target this low. But we've got a while till it closes, so we'll see what happens here. And what I'll actually do on this trade is I will keep my stop above this candle's high. Okay, so that's the entry. I'm going to sell 1 contract there. Again, stop loss is going to be a little bit large here, but my take profit is going to be all the way down here. I am going to partial at this low, though, obviously. And if this low gets swept one more time, I am going to move my stop to break even. So this is now a free trade, and I'm going to let this either hit this or stop me out, whichever one. All right, so that's a stop out for break even, obviously. It was a free trade. So if this continues down now, by all means, that's fine. But I don't want to risk this coming back and inversing this 1 minute, targeting this high. But I still think this is probably going to hit here, here, and here. But it's a very big stop loss, and the range, obviously, you guys know, is massive over the last few days because of all the Trump news. But you can see here, just this range was 260 points, which is actually small in comparison to what we were seeing, but still a massive range. So now what I would want to see if I was still in this and keeping my stop up here, I'd want to see that candle trade into this 1 minute gap and be the highs and then completely reject here. So I'd want to see this candle right now completely close back below this wick and go all the way down here. If I start seeing this trading back up here, I mean, it's fine if it trades into this 1 minute, but I'd rather see this happen right now. And then obviously my first TP is there, second TP is there, and then third TP is at the hourly gap. So really, if I was in this, guys, again, I would move my stop to break even immediately as well, because if this candle ends up retracing, we're going back up here, and then we're going to go back up to this high most likely. So I want to see this cleanly deliver all the way down to this low. Partial here, if you're still in the trade, and then I would hold the rest down to this low and then this low. Yeah, so I don't like this so far. Again, my stop to break even is at this candle's body if I was in this trade still, but I'm not. Okay, so that would be a stop to break even. Because really, guys, here I would have wanted to see this candle completely close below this low. So the fact that we're coming back and retracing, again, it's possible, it's feasible that that would end up still delivering us down as long as we hold this 1 minute inverse on this down close candle. But not something I want to be a part of. Especially on a no news day, it's just not worth it. All right. So now we have another inversion here. Do I think this is A plus? No, I don't think it's A plus, but I do think that it's at least a 6 out of 10. No liquidity sweep. There is a very obvious stop to break even if we can close above this, targeting this high. But what we're probably going to do here is just close the body here, and then if we're going to move, we're just going to move without getting the close. So I personally wouldn't take this on a live account because we didn't get an obvious liquidity sweep, but that's just me. All right, so there is a close above here. So if you guys want to try this, stop loss will be a 1 minute close back below. Take profit would be the internal high. I don't think this is A plus personally, but you guys can do what you want, obviously. Okay, so you can see that this held. We're wicking here. Again, the target is still this internal high. That's your stop to break even. Or if you want a partial here, you can. I just don't think this is A plus. There was no liquidity sweep. But the sizing of the fair value gap is good. Okay, what's up? Okay, guess what happened just now? Nope. I told the community, but I just passed that second eval, so this is gonna be the second funded on Top Step. 53 and $2. So yeah. So officially I'm gonna be able to start copy trading, which is nice. Thank you, Evan. Appreciate it, sir. Again, I mean, I don't really care about evals, but if it ends up being a funded, then, I mean, if it ends up being a funded that I can use for copy trading, then that's the only reason it would benefit. Otherwise, I'll just use the Apex ones. But, like, I haven't touched the other funded for my Top Step. It's just not worth it to trade with a 50K account. Like, one of them, at least. So now that I have the copy trader, all right, I'll figure out how to use it. I don't even know how it's done yet, but I thought you said you passed it. What do you mean, Evan? I just passed it right now. So I think you have to wait till the closing of the day, and then they send you an email, and then you have to use it. You can use it for copy trading afterwards. You have to change it to an express funded, and then you have to pay the activation fee, and then it becomes a funded account. It doesn't just like immediately become one. Yes, do it. Oh, then teach how to do it. Teach how to do what? The copy trading? I think it's just under settings. It just says copy trading. Then you pick a lead account, and then you use that. Anyways, so nothing that I'm seeing that's A plus right now. Obviously, this was a 1 minute inversion. I said I don't like this one, and you can see that it ended up closing back below with the body, and so that would have been a stop out, and now it's pushing. Just like not a great one. No obvious liquidity sweep. Not really, not within a macro time. We're in a volume imbalance. We're in this 15-minute bearish PD array. Not a good spot to be longing. Yeah, if I can figure it out, okay, then I will. I'll show you guys what I do. But it seems pretty simple to me. It's just under settings and then copy trading, and then you select the lead account. So like you select the funded account that you want to be like the main account that you use, and then you can select the accounts that you want to be copy trading with, and then you click the buttons on the lead account, and it will copy the trade for the other accounts. Buys for today, to be honest, I don't know. We're not in a great spot right now. Again, guys, I've covered this already, but so gun to my head, we're bullish, but I would not be surprised if we fill this hourly gap here first. Right? There's this hourly gap that formed. The new week opening gap as well. But ultimately, we have equal highs right above us, and then we have this 4-hour gap right here, and then the hourly gap, which is above that. So this is basically my main draw, and then probably this internal high. This is the data high, guys, from Liberation Day on the 2nd. So I do want to see this ultimately get hit. But for today, I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest. I would prefer to see this hourly gap first. That's why I wanted to get this inversion. But the 2-minute closed below, but the 1-minute did not. So we did not take this. And then when it did close below, I did enter and I got stopped for break even after this low got swept. So again, guys, I entered here on this candle, stopped to break even when this low got swept and I got stopped out. And you can see here that this ended up inversing to the upside. So again, very tricky day. Sorry for that, guys. But yeah, now, I mean, who knows what can happen here. But I think this high is easily going to come, and then we can look for this fair value gap on the 5-minute to get traded into. But we'll see. Again, not a good spot for me. There's a volume imbalance here on the daily that can be used as resistance like it did here. We have that 15-minute gap that needs to close above. So too many different factors here. And again, a failed inverse to the upside, closed below, then went back up. How is the VIX doing? Can we take 2MNQ? It's not really about the VIX, K. The VIX is just like a secondary indicator. If the VIX is still high, even though it's down 16%, we normally base in this area between 13 and 21, okay? So the fact that we're still at 31 is not a good sign, but it's not really about that. It's more about the sizing on the day. I always say, guys, use your TradingView charts and you can set like a limit order, right? So you go to the limit tab and then you can see here based on stop loss and take profit how much you're going to be risking. That's more important, right? So if your max risk for the day is $100 or $150 or $125, whatever it is for your account, you just look at if you're looking, for example, to long right now and your target is up here. If 1MNQ is going to get you, again, this is NQ, so it's not MNQ, but for example's sake, if 1MNQ is a $780 win and a potential $500 loss, which it won't be, but just for the sake of argument, then obviously you can't be trading, or you can't be trading with the size that you're trading with. This is 10 MNQ, 1 NQ. But just use the limit orders to determine what your own math to figure out what's going to be feasible or not for your account. So it's not really about the VIX, but just know that when the VIX is elevated, typically you're going to have size down because the range of the candles are going to be larger. Does that make sense? So the other potential trade we can look for here is this. If we end up going up and sweeping this internal high right here, and then we get some kind of a really nice inverse, that can be a good target for these lows. So I'd want to see an internal high get created here, sweep above it, IFVG right here, entry here or here, whichever you prefer, and then target the sell side here, here, and here. That would be nice too. And that would be really nice as well because we'd be trading into that secondary 5-minute gap, right? This bearish fair value gap. So we'd be fully balancing both, or fully balancing this 5-minute, partially balancing this one. We could even trade higher, maybe the mean threshold, maybe the 75%, maybe even the high of it, and then get the rejection. So it'd be nice because we'd be sweeping liquidity to the upside, also creating another sweep of an internal high with a fair value gap, trading into a bearish fair value gap, and getting an inversion. So that would be really nice. In my trading view, its candles are behind my top step. Yeah, that's because for trading view, you have to pay for live data. Unfortunately, Kay. But that doesn't really matter. You're 15 minutes delayed, so you can still figure out generally what the range is like. So just like enter a limit order and see based on like previous candle structure, you can see what the limits will be. So even though it's delayed, you can still use it to see what kind of a cost it's gonna cost you for the day. Wow, my allergies are getting bad now. Let's take a look at ES quick on the 1 minute chart. ES bouncing from its new week opening gap. Again, guys, if we can sweep this high and then we can get some kind of a rejection, again, what I drew earlier, that's going to be really nice. So big bullish candles here, IFVG, down close candles to target lows would be really nice. Oh. Wow. So this is what I'm talking about when I say sweep an internal high, right? This is an internal high right here. 1, 2, 3 candles. That wick is the internal high. We've swept it, but if you look in this leg of price, there are no IFEGs. Nothing A plus here. So I'd prefer to see something like this, right? I'd want to see this high get swept, first of all. I'd want to see us come up, create an internal high, come back down, create a bullish manipulation candle, and in here, I'd want to see an IFEG. Then when we close below it, that's the entry for the trade. Or if you want to wait for a retracement, you can, but sometimes it does not retrace. And then we target this low, this low, this low, this low, this low. Maybe it does this. But that is kind of what I want to see here. Visually, from a visual standpoint, this is what I want to see the candles do. Okay, so I'll be right back, guys. Pay attention to this internal high and this 5-minute gap, okay? This is what I want you guys to pay attention to. This internal high and this 5-minute gap. If we can trade up here and get a really nice setup from within here, I will take that. But until then, nothing, but I'll be back in a second. Yo, yo, can you guys hear me? All right. So no trade above this internal high yet. But if we do end up getting that sweep, this is where I'm going to be looking for that short setup. Shh. Okay, so that's the internal high right there. This is where I'm looking to get a sweep and then some kind of a move. Oh, Charlie's back. What's up, Charlie? Okay, so we swept that high, but with with a lack of displacement. So not ideal yet. But again, if we can see something like this, that is what I'm looking for. So let's see if something like that plays out. Ooh. So the puts that we sold on Tesla are up 56% from last week in the community, in the Discord, trading floor, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to be holding those guys because they are the 165 puts. So if Tesla ends up trading to 165, I'll get the opportunity to buy shares. But for now, I'd be happy to collect the premium. So goodness. Hold on, guys. No, there's somebody. I don't know if it's one of my workers or if it's. So actually, funny enough, there's this girl that moved across the street. You guys can look her up. Um, Her name is Nona. Damn, forget her name. Let me see if I can find her on Instagram. Her name is Nona something. She's a fitness influencer. She's got 1.5 million followers on Instagram. And she just bought. There's a house across the street from me that was owned by. These people have owned the house since 1950. They're the oldest people on our street. She bought it from them, cash. So she's loaded. But when I find out her name, I'm just pulling up my Instagram. When I find it, I'll tell you guys what her name is. Nona something. Nona. If you try and search on Instagram, you'll probably find it. But she bought it for 1.3 million cash. And actually, I don't know for sure that she bought it cash, but it's just a rumor. Yeah, Nona Bayat. There you go. Lulu, shush. Yeah, she's ripped. If you guys look at her pictures, she's got like abs and everything. Yeah, I do. This is a trading account though, y'all. Charlie, she looks good in pink. This is a trading account. Okay, I'm not gonna start showing my abs on the screen. If you guys want an OnlyFans, that's a different story. Oh, this is so boring. No, I would never do that. Hell no. All right, so again, guys, just being patient here, waiting for that 5 minute to trade into potentially the order block forming here on the 5 minute. We have two 5 minute order blocks that have already formed, right? These three down close candles. When we closed above, this is an OB. We also have another down close candle here. This is an order block. So I'm thinking that these two are going to be used to deliver price up to this 5 minute. And then from there, maybe we get an inversion. So we'll see. Wow, this is so boring. Has ES traded into its 5 minute already? Did it even have a 5 minute inversion? It did. So ES is trading stronger than NQ here. So we could potentially have an SMT. Wow. So there is an SMT right now. Okay, because NQ took out its high. So I'll actually label this as an SMT for now. So until ES takes out its high, this is an SMT, right? This is making a lower high. NQ is making a higher high. So this is called an SMT. I don't know what it stands for. Smart money trading, I believe, but it basically just means that one of the indices makes a higher high and one makes a lower high. And that is also kind of like a liquidity sweep. But unfortunately on NQ, with this SMT, there's no A plus inversion that I see here. All of these candles are just wicky. There's no A plus fair value gaps. So I still would prefer to see this setup play out. So again, just being patient and waiting for something, but for now, there's nothing that I see. If you guys want to try a scalp to target this 5-minute inversion, I bet you it works, but not something that I would take personally. Man. Anyone else have allergies right now? I thought they were getting better, and they are. This is nothing compared to how bad it can get. But and also we're in a macro time too, so again, I would not be surprised if this high hits because that's the top of the it's the bottom of the 5-minute fair value gap and it's a high. Okay, so very close there. Whoops. Came super close. And I really wouldn't want to see that if I was in longs. I'd rather have seen it deliver there, but I'm gonna delete this. This is a little bit small, but it's not terrible. If it's and again, now that we just did that, there's no fair value gap, so there's nothing I can enter here. I'd want to see this internal high get swept, and then we get some kind of a setup from within here. Oh, do you enjoy on weekends or do you get bored? I mean, listen, everyone deals with boredom. I fill my time up. I do a lot of activities, like I play soccer a lot. That's one of my big things. I go to the gym a lot. I have some really good friends that I hang out with. We go to like Korean barbecue, different food things. If any of you guys have ever played Catan, I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Catan. Super fun game. So it's like a board game. We play it a lot. But yeah, I don't really go out very much. I don't like spend money on clubs and bars and tables and stuff. That's just not me. But some people, you'll see a lot of like gurus that spend their money on like bottle clubs and services and stuff. But yeah, definitely not me. But yeah, everybody deals with boredom, but you have to fill your time with things that you enjoy and that are good for you. So being active. One thing I'm trying to learn right now is coding. So I'm actually learning Python. That's the first. It was my second day of learning Python yesterday. So like I have these courses on Udemy and Coursera. So that's something I really want to learn. Just to learn it in the age of AI and the information age, I think it's good to understand that stuff. I play chess a lot, and then of course the gym and soccer and whatever other sports you like, swimming. I go to the beach a lot too. Man. All right, so still no trade into this 5-minute. I still think it's probably going to hit, and then from within here, guys, that's where I'm looking for my short. It's an optimal trade entry too. If we draw, I always forget which way it goes. I think it's from low to high. Let me just check here. Oh no, opposite way. From high to low. Bro. Yeah, so the 0.768 retracement is right here. So that's actually a pretty good entry for a short. And then you could target some internal lows, but I want to see this trade up into, and then maybe get a short from there. Not a bad looking 3-minute here. I'm actually not going to lie. It's a little bit small, but I don't think it's bad to target this low. But I'd rather see this hit, to be honest. This does check a lot of boxes, right? We swept an internal high. We're delivering from a bearish 5-minute, and it's an inversion, and it's within a macro time, and we have an obvious draw on liquidity. But I just really would have preferred to see this hit, to be honest. Even though this is probably still going to work to this low now. But, wait, what just happened? Bruh, what just happened? NQ1. Okay, there we go. So the 3-minute candle closes at 10:57. So we've got just under 30 seconds, but this low is probably coming now. Damn, that's unfortunate. So if you guys want to try a scalp, I would be shocked if this low doesn't hit now. After this leg of price. There it is. So unfortunately, they didn't give us the 3-minute entry, but that looked really good for a short. I just, again, would have preferred to see this, but it doesn't have to happen. Sometimes they bring it very close to the high, and then they'll reject it. But yeah, guys, nothing here that's like so good. I have to take it. And again, the 3-minute never gave me the entry, so... Now, this could end up going all the way back down to the lows here. It's possible, but not something I would enter anymore. I would have had to have seen the close of the candle here, taken a partial here, or a stop to break even. Definitely stop to break even at the low, and then held it for lower. There is an unbalanced 5-minute here, tiny one, that we will probably trade back down into at minimum. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this come up and then come back down and target this low right here on the 3-minute. So I'd like to see this hit, because there's a tiny 5-minute here that not a lot of people are paying attention to. And not quite there, but almost. So like they could even bring the market back up above this high and then do it later, but ultimately I think that this 5-minute low should come. By the way, guys, if these two inverse, so if we end up closing back above both of these, I'm going to try this as a short, long scalp up to this internal high and then probably higher. So like maybe the mean threshold of the 5-minute gap. Let me just remove the new week opening gap quick so that it doesn't blind your eyes. Pulling up the mean threshold of this is right here. So if we do end up getting an inverse on the 1 minute above both of these, this is going to be a good long, targeting this high and then the mean threshold of that. I'll try that on an eval. The stop loss is huge, guys, but if we end up inversing both of these, that is a very good sign that this high is hitting, because everyone that's shorting this has their stop above that. So I think that's a great trade. So we'll see what happens here. But so far, big rejection from this 1 minute gap, so I would not be surprised to see again that 5-minute hit. But I will take this trade if we get it. It's too good to ignore. Do 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 do. Okay. There's the 5-minute low. So always, guys, pay attention to these little fair value gaps. If you see a rejection, look to the left of your charts and see where is there an obvious imbalance that not a lot of people are seeing. Right there is a small imbalance on the 5-minute. I don't see anything below it. If I go down to the 3-minute chart, I mean, we already filled the 3, which is very similar to the 5. On the 2-minute, we filled the 2. Nothing here on the 2-minute. Nothing here on the 1-minute. So this is where we could potentially see that reversal. And then if we do close above on the 1-minute here, then I will look for a scalp up to this high and then to the mean threshold of this 5-minute gap. Okay, guys, so I think I'm going to stay on until the 11:10 macro, realistically. I mean, there's nothing. Today is, again, a no news day, not an A+ day to be trading. Nothing that I've seen here that's just so good. We did take one trade again, guys. It was this inversion when the 1-minute closed below, and it was an immediate stop to break even. Again, totally fine. That happens in the model. My main goal, guys, is to have a free trade, okay? Meaning complete risk off the table and allow the trade to play out. So that is my main goal. I'd like to be able to sit on the charts with a free trade and not have to wait for the market to go against me. And that's what the model allows me to do most of the time. But if I do see something A+, obviously I'll call that on the trading floor in the live alert section. But for now, I'm not seeing anything amazing. We've had a lot of good trades on the live call section. The last trade we took was actually a fail, but I'll show you guys that one in a second. But it was pretty darn good. I still would take that 10 out of 10 times, but the last one was a fail. And then it ended up working right afterwards, but sometimes that's a manipulation they do in the market, so. So 3-minute traded back up into this inverse, right? I mean, into this bearish fair value gap right here. And now it is rejecting. But again, guys, nothing good enough for me to take. Again, if this 3-minute closed here, I would have taken a stop to break even here, partial here, and then held the rest down to these lows, and then the hourly. But nothing that's good enough for me here, unfortunately. But I still think this is probably going to end up sweeping this low, this low, this low. But we are also, again, guys, we're kind of range bound within this big bearish candle here. Not a really good spot to be trading, in my view. Kay says, it looked so bad as one of the 5-minute closed and then went down, not even touching the 5-minute FEG, which was left. Yeah. I mean, they do this sometimes, though, okay? You guys have to pay attention to these fair value gaps, and if they come very close by a tick, remember when we did this, I said I don't like this candle? I said I'd rather have seen this deliver up into it. Again, that doesn't mean it's not going to sweep it. It could easily have done it on this leg of price. It didn't this time. But I don't like when we get these wicks, one tick or 1 or 2 ticks, whatever it is, between the high that you're aiming for. Always, if you guys see this, be very cautious, because a lot of the times what they'll do here, especially in this type of market, with Trump and the tariffs and the volatility and the VIX elevated, they'll bring it really close to this high and then they'll reject it. So if you ever see this happen where we come super close, be prepared for a potential reversal. Now, again, I was prepared for it, but I wanted to see the 3-minute inversion close here. The fact that it did this, I can't edit this anymore. But this could easily come back down to midnight here. Midnight opening price, and then lower. And it did what I wanted to see. Remember what I said, guys? Pay attention to this internal high and this fair value gap. It did sweep the high, but unfortunately it did the thing where it came super close and rejected. And I explained to you guys, I wanted to enter on this 3-minute candle, but the fact that we end up closing it here, the risk reward goes from really good to really bad. That could be our entry if the FVG was balanced. I still wouldn't have entered on this if the FVG was balanced. This is not a good RR because the short initially, whoops, that's the long setup. The short position initially looked like this. I would have probably put it like the body of this candle to target this low, this low, this low. So the RR was really good. Even if you target this, it's a 5-1. But all of a sudden, if you enter here, the RR goes to a 1.24. So it becomes terrible. Essential Crispy 7. Wow, I just took a trade on Sol USD and won 10K. You didn't win 10K, bro. You earned 10K. But if that's true, congratulations. That's awesome. Now what I would do, Essentially Crispy, if you are new to trading or newer, and you actually just made 10K, I would withdraw it immediately and put it straight into your bank account or into a savings account, and do not put it back in the market. That's my biggest suggestion to you. If you've been trading for 5 years or plus and you know what you're doing, by all means do what you want. But if you just gambled and you made 10K and your dopamine is through the roof because 10K is the biggest amount of money you've ever made on a trade, then I would take that money out so quick. I set up my trade and market took a downtrend just the way I wanted to. I feel lucky. This kind of sounds like one of these like scammy things, bro. Where now he's going to plug, I took this trade based on blah blah blah's callouts. Let's see if that's what it ends up being. But if you're an actual human being, congratulations, Essential Crispy. That's awesome. Okay, so midnight opening price was touched, just like I just said, but Opal, you take the buy if we sweep the sell side without filling the gap, but close a good IFG to the upside. Probably not, K, to be honest. I'd rather see this hourly get filled first. And normally when we do this and we come very close to a high, normally the PA afterwards is bad. But so far in the AM session, obviously we've had a lot of consolidation, so maybe. But I'd prefer to see this hourly get swept, or at least touched into, and then get along. Yes, K, unless it's like such a good IFVG with a really good RR and a perfect stop to break even, then no, I probably wouldn't take it. Again, it just I have to see it. I have to see if we're in a macro time. I have to see what the IFVG looks like. I want to see how the candles fill here. Like if we come up a bunch here first, then it will be less likely. But if we just keep collapsing and we don't really fill any unbalanced gaps above, like this, if this doesn't get filled this 1 minute, like right now, we're touching into it. So if this is unfilled, the odds of us coming back and rebalancing it are higher. But now that we just did this, right, this could just be the sell program that brings us lower. And then I don't really care about this 1 minute gap anymore because it already got touched into, right? I mean, kind of. But again, I have to see how these candles print. But like, if we just completely drop here, and we leave a bunch of unbalanced fair value gaps, and we never trade into them, like right now, we just traded into this. I don't like it as much. But if we never trade into them, and we just go like this, and then we get an internal high like this, we come super close to the gap, and then we create an inversion, this looks really good to me to target these. But if we start trading into them, or trading into this, or trading into this, all of a sudden these are balanced. So the odds of us coming back to fill them before sweeping the low becomes slimmer. What's up, Jay? Good to see you, sir. Does that make sense, Kay? Like, if we don't fill these gaps, right? There's a gap here, a gap here, a gap here. Sorry for my drawings, but if we don't fill them when we leave them unbalanced, it's much more likely that this setup will deliver at least up to one of them. But if we do fill them, then it's very unlikely. It's more likely that this will be a fake IFEG and then we'll come back down and sweep the hourly. Hope that makes sense. So it really just depends how the candles print. Sometimes it's just based on a feeling. Sometimes it's really based on the structure that we're seeing. But yeah. So this, I wouldn't be surprised if this completely rejects. We sweep these lows now. But we'll see. Again, not good enough for me to take a setup. But okay, guys. So again, it's a no news day. If I do see something A+, I will call it. I will post a link to the trading floor if you guys want to join. There is a free 3-day trial. But if I do see an A+ setup, I will call it in there. But right now, I'm not seeing anything. The macro time's over. It's a no news day. So, not ideal, for sure. But I will post it if you guys want access. I posted, I have to check in my, in the Discord, but I believe this week, Monday, Tuesday, I'll have to check, but 3 days this week are on YouTube, and the best 2 days in the market are going to be on Discord. But I will be live at some other point this week for sure on YouTube, so you guys can definitely stick around for those days. But yeah, if you want access to all the days of live trading, the best days, all my options trades, swing trades, long-term positions, all that stuff. We actually have some puts that we just closed out on Riot. I mean, some calls we closed out on Riot for 100%. And then we sold some puts on Tesla last week that are now up 50. Actually, now they're up 49.22% that I'm going to be holding. But I will alert you guys if I do anything. Fridays are closed? Markets closed on Friday? What? What do you mean? Is it Easter? Easter? Oh, it is Good Friday. Oh. Okay, let me check something then. Hold on. Okay, for those of you guys in the community. Oh, so I have Friday as a YouTube day, so it doesn't even matter. But Wednesday and Thursday are Discord days. Tomorrow I will be live on YouTube. So again, guys, Monday, Tuesday, YouTube, Wednesday, Thursday, Discord. Friday, I didn't even realize it was Good Friday. So this is a no trading day. The futures market will still be open, I believe, because we have an FOMC member speaking, but we'll see. Yeah. I don't know if the futures market will be open in the morning. It might be. But yeah, so that's going to be it for me, guys. I wish you guys the best. Pay attention to this hourly low. Again, it's right here, this gap that's formed in the morning. I mean, in the Friday, Sunday session, the new week opening gap. If you guys see some kind of an A+ liquidity sweep, let's say this high gets swept and we get a really nice inversion, you guys can try that. But if I see something really good, I will call it to target that low. But yeah, wish you guys the best. See you tomorrow. Thanks again for stopping by. And yeah.